as you are tuning in, remember to please read beyond the caption of the broadcast. Read the description of the broadcast as well. Like, get yourself into it. Then like it. Share it. Invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends, and tell them that Mayegu today, Mayegu is live. Thank you. I don't know what has been the center of your attention in the last 48 hours. I bet, right? There are many, most of them personal. But outside that, your space, the last 48 hours, I've seen tens of people slaughtered by the Fulani terrorists. I mean, it's probably going to be like a stale news to so many of you, but we'll keep reminding you the danger of corrupt, incompetent, inefficient group of rogues parading themselves as your leaders. There are consequences for bad leadership. To start with, in Benue State, it's been a kind of like the weeks or days of wanton killings. The one that should ordinarily have caught the attention of majority of Nigerians, but unfortunately, with APC, their propaganda, their dictatorship, their tyranny combined, they have managed to normalize abnormalities in where people are just waiting, right? For their turn. You now have a country where if it hasn't happened to me, but somebody I know, then maybe it is just been over-exaggerated. Middle belt part of Nigeria has suffered, the people from the part. They are like the belt that holds together the bottom as well as the top, like the top of the north and the south, so to say. They are like the belt. So they are like the shield that has held these terrorists down from like freely crossing down to the southern part of Nigeria, and of course, to unleash the same terror on us until we are subjugated. They have always been. But unfortunately, these people, they have been caused with selfish, self-centered, and most of them like power-hungry rogues as their own leaders. In the face of all of this, so as much as all of us are facing different kind of challenges in that contraption, right? Some will say, why can't people come together and defend themselves? Some of you have said that many times. In fact, a lot of people are beginning to blame the victims by saying, why are they all waiting to just be killed? Why can't they, defend themselves? But in that same contraption is where we have a system put in place, seriously celebrated, called Operation Safe Corridor. Operation Safe Corridor for terrorists who swears by the Holy Quran that they won't be terrorists again, right? And in that same system is where citizens are being disarmed, communities are being disarmed, and now, to even make the whole thing even worse, there are places where they agreed that the communities could put together, but they would have to work with the Nigerian authority, like the Nigerian army, in combating these terrorists. We have evidence of those who have been physically attacked by their colleagues for being too, like a fast finger, like, killing too many terrorists. We have seen instances where military deployment, soldiers were given an intel only for the same intel to be released to terrorists and ambush every now and then. it is also in that same contraption where we have witnessed the same military hierarchy fighting terrorists, send their own men to go face the terrorists, only to send their bombers to go bomb the same soldiers they sent to go and fight terrorists. We have seen that evidence, right? Like we have all of that evidence publicly. So talking about a conspiracy collaboration in between the sabotaging of their own efforts. Again, this same treatment has been sort of like extended to those who were like civilian fighters. So we have communities, by the way, who have kind of like bonded together and they have resisted these terrorists many times until they get weakened by the system for the terrorists to come in and slaughter them. True story, not, So what happened in Zamfara? Zamfara is now like the headquarters of maybe Niger too. Zamfara is so prominently featured in this their jihadist campaign, as well as other terrorist campaign terrorism campaign that they are currently like funding, because it is more or less like an industry in that contraption today. Zamfara and its natural resources that I believe are currently being stolen, illegally mined, and therefore, right? But when it comes to the locals, the indigenous people of some of the communities, one community to the other, thousands of them, by the way, scattered across several of their local government areas, who have been the constant victims, right, of this war. So, bonded together, decided to kind of like a ward of the terrorists. So something happened to them last Sunday, just 2 days ago, 48 hours ago, right? And it was just in a very sunny, bright afternoon. These terrorists, Fulani terrorists, they rode into town on their bikes, according to the eyewitness. They said they rode into town on their bikes in their big numbers. And then they started attacking this community, shooting, macheting, burning. In the process, it is reported that they kidnapped 50 people right on the spot. And I think 3 people were also killed. Now, recovering from that shock, surprise attack, the men in the community put together, the vigilantes, brought out all their weapons and what have you. By then, there's already an SOS sent to the Nigerian army, because according to reports, right, they were close by military at a checkpoint or formation, not far. So an SOS was sent. Maybe those who now sent SOS to the Air Force using their own words now. But guess what? By the time their own bombardier, being a bomber, would arrive at the scene, the terrorists that they described as being on bikes, right, suddenly disappeared, and the vigilantes were nuked right there and then, because they said they flew so low that all they did was just to drop the bomb on them, turned around and came back, and still see those who still survived, anyone moving. But for few ones who managed to survive, they had to tell the story. So when they asked the Nigerian military or Nigerian Air Force what happened, they said when they received the distress call, distress alert, right, they automatically just believed that the group of vigilantes that they saw, or the group of people they saw with arms, must have been the terrorists. And so they just went for them. 20 people killed. So the terrorists came and they killed 3 people. But for those who wanted to go after them, the military came and nuked them. One mistake too many. Do you understand that? One mistake too many makes it a pattern. We have had instances where, like I gave earlier, where soldiers have been personally attacked. Some have been killed by their own colleagues for being so trigger happy, killing a terrorist. That gave a lot of people as well the impression that reabsorbing terrorists, repentant terrorists into the Nigerian army is a deliberate attempt to further weaken the supposed Nigerian army from within. And I'm like, well, maybe that too. However, the corruption within alone has weakened them, where majority of them, they are generals with their starchy uniforms and all of that, right? And they are walking sticks. They are pure politicians wearing uniforms, making promises, pledges, and not ashamed of not being able to fulfill them. Sending their own men into the meat grinder in a war that seems to be like endless. They continue to give excuses, reasons why, you know, they've not been able to tame these guys. But what about the saboteurs within and the lives that have been lost for that? The people of Benue, just like I started, right? The people of Benue who have also come under serious attacks, right? Across, at least in recent times, so 58 people killed in a space of 3 days in 2 local government areas of Benue State. And the pattern is the same. The terrorists will ride into town, open fire, and anything that moves. And once they are gone, the military will come. And their job is to come in. You know, it's the same MO all the time. A member of Benue State House of Assembly was on the channels earlier today talking about the same thing and what they observed. Because according to them, again, there was a military formation just right before where these attacks took place. And it took this military formation that ordinarily shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. It took them 2 hours before they showed up. And this is not 2 hours after people called them, 2 hours after the terrorists were gone. Such a shame that even this is not, you know, such a not on the front burner of Tifnubu and his gang, because they would rather pretend that it is not happening than for them to address it and possibly be questioned. What have you done? What are you doing? So they can tell you that everything is fine. And bodies are piling up, women, children, and all of that. From Benue, I don't know, I'm just going to flash you a picture. This one. This is where it is right now in Benue. The food basket of Nigeria is almost becoming the corpse basket of Nigeria. You get what I mean? Anyway, here is a member of the House of Assembly, pretty much talking about, you know, the same thing. Let's see if I can get out.
The security situation in Benue State is alarming. The Ankali in Idiku ward, which is my immediate council ward, were attacked on Sunday. And as I can tell you, there is nobody presently in that community because they ran away for their life. Over 11 persons were buried and 1 is still missing. And about 5 of them are critically ill and receiving treatment in the hospital. And as I can tell you, this is not the first time my local government or my constituency has been attacked. There have been pockets of killing since March this year, and even last year as well. And we don't know where this thing is coming from. As we speak, our people are dominantly farmers. No one can go to farm in my village or in every community in about 6 council wards in Apa local government. They cannot go to farm. Even the yam they planted about 500 meters from their village, the Fulani herdsmen goes there, uproot this and put in their sacks and took it to wherever they want to do. But people cannot go to farm, they cannot plant anything, so we are just helpless.
Honorable Moro, is the death toll 33 or 43? Let's be clear on that.
Well, I'm speaking on my own local government. I was on ground yesterday. As early as 7:30 a.m. I was in my my local government, and the people that were buried is 11 and 1 missing, and 7 are critically ill, receiving treatment in various hospitals in the council, and some are taken to Odukpo Teaching Hospital. Well, the security is always arriving the scene when what the headers have done, and which has no any impact on our people any longer. Because when we cry for help, nobody is there. I can tell you, we have some army stay in some community who are not far from this place that this attack happened on Sunday, and they were not there. It took them over 2 hours after the people that perpetrated the act has left the community. So when they arrived, there is nothing they will come to do. They have done what they want to do, and they have left the community. And this is not the first time. It happened in Akwete, in Apa local government. About 6 persons were lost. Kidnapping on the farm, on the road, raping of our mothers and our sisters is ongoing every day as I speak to you. So we are helpless. And this is a state that will have anti-grazing law, anti-open grazing law. And we don't know what is happening. I can tell you, my community is helpless. My constituency is helpless. Every now and then you receive a call from them. What are you doing? What are you doing to protect them? Mine is to make law, and the executive is to implement. I'm coming to the House of Assembly for the second term, and when I came, we have this law and the open grazing law, which it has not been enforced. The security.
So it was reported, right, that 2 local government areas in Benue State, by the media report. So the first 12 people that were killed were in Apa local government area. They have another area called the Gua local government area. So it was reported that 10 people were also killed. This was just an attack on a single night. So in the last 1 week alone, like he said, this is happening every day. In the last 1 week alone, it is reported that over 58 people have been killed by these terrorists. The last time their governor, you remember that it was Autumn that was there, that they had to put fatwa on Autumn. Yeah, Yetiela put a fatwa on Autumn. That means a death sentence on Autumn for pushing for the ban on open grazing. Right? So then the Benue people went for APC. How that happened is like, because the only explanation given by some of the people from Benue was that indeed security was a big issue and was a big problem, but there were other issues too. Autumn was a complete disaster. It was, in fact, at a point, hiding behind the insecurity in Benue State for why it's been unable to really deliver on other promises. So, and they could see through that. So they decided to just go for the Al-Qaeda People's Congress, the party responsible for the terrorism in Nigeria, in power. So Benue people settled for them that, okay, even Abibu, they kill us, because we won't give up our lands, right? let's say if we are now presented as being part of you, maybe that will stop. Unfortunately, it is now on record that